George Eliot once wrote, "One must be poor to know the luxury of giving." And in Matthew 25, Jesus begins a discourse on true believers and how they will be known. Jesus talks about when he will return in his glory, he will gather all people together, and he will separate them into two groups, one on his right side and one on his left side. And Jesus explains that he will turn to those on his right, and he will welcome them into his kingdom, into their eternal inheritance. And the reason he gives is this. He says, "I was hungry and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger and you invited me in. I needed clothes and you clothed me. I was sick and you looked after me. I was in prison and you came to visit me." And here's the beautiful thing about people like this. They replied to Jesus. They said, "When did we see you hungry and thirsty and give you something to eat or drink? Or when did we see you naked and clothe you? When were you sick and we came to visit you? Or in prison and came to see you?" And Jesus replied to them. He said, "Whatever you've done to the least of these, my brothers, you've done unto me." And this is the message of Jesus, the message of selfless love. Because Jesus directly correlates our love for him by how much we love others, those around us. You see, you can say how much you love God and worship God, but the world and heaven both know how much you love God by how much you love others around you. I heard it put like this once: you love God only as much as you love the person you love least. So I can measure my love for God by my love for others, especially those that hate and use me. You see, it's easy to love those that are good to us, but God requires that we love those who despise us, because that's when love is at its best. When it's inconvenient, when it's hard, when it takes everything you can possibly give to love that person, that's when love is at its best. That's when love is its brightest, and it shines the most and gives its most light. You see, many of us love, but we love our own lives more than we love others. You see, and the harsh reality for people like this is laid out by Jesus as he continues in Matthew 25. It says he turns to those on his left-hand side and he says, "You are cursed, and you will not enter my kingdom. Because I was thirsty and you never gave me something to drink. I was hungry and you didn't give me something to eat. I was naked and you didn't clothe me. I was a stranger and you didn't welcome me in. I was in prison and you didn't come to visit me. I was sick and you didn't look after me." And these people look at Jesus and they say, "When were you sick, hungry, in prison, and we didn't come and see you or feed you? When were you naked and we didn't clothe you? When were you thirsty and we didn't give you something to drink?" And Jesus' reply to them is, "Whatever you did not do for the least of these, my brothers, you didn't do for me." How many times a day do we drive by Jesus? Or do we walk right by him? Or are we sitting next to him at class or at work? Or we pass him by on the street? See, people ask me all the time, "What can I do for God?" And my reply to them is this: look around where you're at right now, find a need, and meet it. That's what you can do for God. And in doing so, you meet God's need, the need for people who love like he does. You see, giving isn't a luxury. Giving is a lifestyle.